Hello!
Hi!
Welcome back, nerds. This is the second episode of...
The inaugural studio episode.
Yes!
Oh, no.
Full
Hi,
don't worry
puppy.
about Donner. He's in all of our shows. The first full studio episode for Regrettable Reviews and other
Hell
unasked for
yes.
opinions.
I love it.
Today we are going to do a movie that was suggested by my co-host, Bridget.
I feel like I need to apologize for this one.
Hey, this is going to be divisive, and you know what? Divisive topics drum up traffic, so let's do it. Let's get into it.
So we watched the shitty Doctor Who TV movie from like 1996.
Yeah.
And I say that with nothing but love in my heart, just putting that out there. But
I don't know, man. Like, okay, so let's start off right off the bat. I am not a huge Doctor Who fan in any way, shape, or form.
fair enough. I am not necessarily like the biggest Doctor Who nerd in the world. I definitely really like it in the way that only one can when you are like 14 and you start watching because you think David Tennant is pretty.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair. There's definitely been a show or two where I've done that, you know. Oh, well, and now I'm into it.
Yeah, and I was just like, all right, yeah, this is cool. I'll stick around. I'm kind of behind though. I dropped off midway through the Jodie Whittaker seasons just because I got busy while it was airing, and then I was like, I'll catch up later, and I still haven't.
Fair enough.
Because of who I am as a person.
Yeah, I went into this with the Doctor Who experience of my knowledge of reading about it, not ever watching it, because just the premise alone is not good for me. And then when I knew we were doing this, I watched the first 4 episodes of the first season. I want to be clear. The first season. Doctor 1.
Yeah, that's...
It actually wasn't terrible. It's very
It's-
Lost in Spacey.
Yeah, it definitely had that vibe. I mean, technically you did better than Kyle because he watched this with no context other than knowing what Doctor Who is.
So
just like from
he probably enjoyed
culture.
the movie then. So that's what I was going to say, is if you remove Doctor Who references right out of this movie, right, and you just watch it as a purely strange-o, one-off sci-fi movie, it's actually not bad. It's not bad. It's just a cheesy 90s sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I would, if this wasn't Doctor Who, I might have given it like a 5. I'd rewatch it if I had to. Actually, I'll still give it like a 5. I'm not
Okay,
going to take
you
it
know
away.
what?
I'm not going to pull those points away for Doctor Who.
You know
No.
what? That's a win. A win is a win.
I would rewatch it, but probably not intentionally. Like that, I wouldn't go out of my way if somebody was watching it or had it
Purposely rewatch this every single New Year's Eve.
on. That's one way to spend your New Year's Eve. I mean, that's...
Because I don't get invited to parties because my friends don't live in New York State or in
Yes,
this
you
country.
have 0 friends in New York State. Brooks and I know.
I didn't know you last New Year's, so... Oh, wait, or did I?
Yeah, because November...
Yes! You're
Yeah.
so right. But I didn't know if we were party cool yet.
Well, the first night we met, we spent the whole night doing shots together
I don't know.
and hanging out until like almost 2 a.m. I don't remember how late it was.
It was pretty late.
I had a very angry wife. I know that.
Whoopsies.
Well, because I was going to come home and then I didn't. And then I also ended up having to Uber home. And that was from Saratoga to where I live. Not cheap.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. That's not ideal. I don't know. I never assume that I'm cool with anyone until they've invited me back to things a minimum of 3 times because I'm like a conversational vampire. I have to be explicitly invited to participate at all times.
I get that. I exude extrovert. It is not real. It's all false pretenses.
Yeah, I would say there's a similar thing happening here. But bringing it back to the movie, I will say that I wrote down some notes as I watched this.
Oh, so did I.
And I'm sure they're all just glowing. But my literal first note is this movie is so bad and I love it with my whole heart.
See, I wouldn't have said that. Like, there are movies that are so bad that they're fun and interesting. But my take on it was just like a cheesy 90s sci-fi movie. Like, but the problem I had with the opening of this movie, it just jumps right into like, what, Gangland, Chicago?
Yeah, or no. It's San Francisco, I think.
Oh, whatever, but like, it's just like, there's just 1,000 Asian gangsters just unloading on someone they've never met.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get the other guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even start the movie.
I was about to say, is that a thing we do?
We do.
Love it.
It's muted, but it's just there for us to make points of reference. I'm actually going to jump a little bit ahead just so we get to that.
Entirely valid. I do have some affection for dated Doctor Who special effects in particular because even the new episodes, they've never been like swimming in money So there's always sort of this, like, it's Doctor Who by this sort of, like...
They haven't grown out of the cheesy CGI. They're okay with it. Okay, that's fine.
It's better.
Know your shtick.
It's better cheesy CGI than it was.
But it's still...
But it's, like, they are maintaining an aesthetic at this point.
I gotta say, though, like, the CGI, yeah, it's bad.
I wish they had kind of ditched it entirely.
But they're set pieces. They're actual, like, physical costuming.
Yeah.
This is a really well-made movie.
That's the thing. I'm obsessed with the practical effects in this movie, which is why I kind of wish they had ditched the little bit of CGI that they do have.
For sure. Because it didn't really add anything.
No.
None
frankly,
of the scenes,
I think it kind of took away.
Yeah. None of the scenes with the CGI were relevant.
This is also just kind of a personal thing for me, but one, the record skip on time, pretty corny, a little too on the nose, but also this TARDIS interior in particular, I've never loved. It's always felt way too, like, cavernous.
Yeah, it's stretching that concept of it's bigger on the inside a bit much.
Yeah, it's like...
I don't feel like they have that much wasted space.
Yeah, I mean, even if it technically is, like, infinite, like, make it a little friendlier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
The master, the sperm monster just escaped.
Yeah.
Which, to me, it looks like a trauma film. When he's, like, wiggling around later and stuff, it literally looks like a trauma film, and there's a sperm monster trying to attack people.
Although, I gotta say, I think we're getting slightly ahead of the actual, like, pace of the movie here, but when you talked about the, into gangland, San Francisco, killing this incarnation of the Doctor, trying to take out other people, I think this is the most fucked up way that any incarnation of the Doctor has ever been taken out.
Yeah, like, having no context of the films, I know this was not a glorious send-off. It wasn't, like, dying in a brave act, wasn't...
No, not even remotely, which is, like... Man, I would hate to be Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah, like, they could have given him a better send-off by having the exact same scene, except for they threaten the kid, and then he steps in front of him, and he's like, no, you'll have to go through me, and then they shoot him. At least then he's an act of bravery, you know?
Especially because, like, I'm not exactly 100% sure of the circumstances behind the, like, OG cancellation of the show that had been going since the fucking 60s.
Yeah.
But, like, that's already kind of a blow. It's like, we're chopping this off when it's your turn.
Yeah.
It's like, you could have at least made it a little better for him. Or I certainly would have been salty.
Spew-satyr. What is going on? Oh, okay, you're just... doing what I do.
Yeah, I'm just riffing on what you guys are saying.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's what I do when they do. Donner.
Boy,
Donner's riffing too.
I like that. Good point, buddy.
Thank you for your contribution.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Now we're finally in Gangland, San Francisco.
Yeah.
I also don't understand the kid who gets, I guess, quote unquote, saved. Why he ends up turning against this doctor later on. I don't think there's a point to that.
He got promised money. He's a kid.
I guess. But...
I mean, again, there's a lot of things in this movie where it's like, I'm sure, I guess I'll buy it, whatever. Like, don't think too hard. But, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, man. Yeah, like, they're just shooting in an alleyway at a car, which, by the way, gets no bullet holes.
Yeah.
Probably the worst part of the practical effects of the entire movie. They do pretty good with everything else.
Alright, I would agree.
So how would you rate this? I said I'd give it a 5.
Here's the thing. Actually, like, as a standalone movie in the way that you were sort of viewing this, I would probably give it like a 6 just because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
In the Doctor Who universe, maybe a little bit higher because they try some interesting things that may or may not be canon, depends on how big of a nerd you ask and the brand of Doctor Who nerd that they are. So like maybe a 7.
Oh wow!
In the
All
Doctor
right.
Who universe, just because they tried some cool stuff here that I'm all right with. For Bridget is having a really good time. This is a fucking 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so like actual watchability, I'm a 5, but like I did have a good time watching it at parts.
Yeah, no, like watchability for me, like I watch this movie at least once a year. Let's freaking go.
Nice. Now see, Donner.
He wants to contribute.
I think I remember reading somewhere that this is the first time that they kind of like made the Doctor suave.
Yes.
or even sexual at all. He's been kind of asexual for most of the show up to this point, I think.
Pretty much, yeah. Like,
It's the first time he kisses a woman on screen.
first time he kisses a woman on screen. I gotta say, like, Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor, was, like, considered the first even vaguely, like, actor to ever be the Doctor, because he was the youngest at that point.
Oh, okay.
And he was, like, you know, this young blonde guy, like, wearing a suit. It was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But this really is kind of the first time they ever attempted any sort of, like, ooh, he's, like, dashing.
Yeah, and I liked it. I got a very Gene Wilder in Willy Wonka.
I am also just a huge fan of the actor that they chose to play the Doctor for, like, this one-off, Paul McGann. He's freaking awesome, and I think the greatest tragedy of the fact that, like, this didn't kind of spawn this sort of Americanized backdoor reboot to Doctor Who that it was intended to be the beginning of is that Paul McGann and Daphne Ashbrook didn't get more time on screen together, because I think they're the best thing about this movie.
Oh, for sure. Hands down. Hands down.
And, like, I know, like, later, because one of the convenient things about Doctor Who being the time travel show that it is that, like, decades later, these same two actors were, like, recorded, like, audio dramas as, like, oh, actually, we did swing back around and pick this up and go on a couple adventures, but then, like, you know, we returned, so it was just a day later in 1999. Like, that's the fun, kind of convenient thing about a time travel show, is that you can put in as many little, like, backdoor adventures as you want, as long as you don't do anything that's, like, you know, stepping on the butterfly, essentially.
I'm just going to say, you like using the term backdoor adventures and backdoor reboot. You use backdoor a lot, and I love it, because I know one of those is getting clipped.
You know, I did that to myself, and I wasn't even thinking about it.
When you said backdoor reboot, I was like, well, that's not the backdoor reboot I watched.
You're funny. The classic John Smith thing, where it's like, is it a common name? Does he use it because it's a common name, or is it a common name because the Doctor pops up all the time and uses it as his disguise? Haha.
Oh, I never kind of thought of it that way, but that makes sense, you know. Popping up throughout history and just giving your name as John Smith. And
yeah.
It just becomes vaguely popular. It's not the reason,
It's actually, though, one of my favorite bits from the Jodie Whittaker era is that, because that was the first time they'd ever cast a woman to play the Doctor, and, like, the first couple episodes of her first season, someone asked for her name, she just goes, oh, John Smith, and then just, like, does not register that she can't do that anymore. Like, no one's gonna buy it.
That's funny.
I will say, also, Daphne Ashbrook is fine as hell.
Yes. 100% agree. 10 out of 10, wouldn't change a thing. Donner has some criticisms.
He's not a fan. He's just not into blondes.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I can't picture Eric Roberts as a paramedic, by the way.
No, not
It's
even
just
a little bit.
When he shows... Oh, there's the sperm monster.
Yeah.
When he shows up later as the Master for something, he's being kind of distant and sleazy. It's like, oh, that's Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
And the fact that nobody else picks up on that, and it's supposed to be weird behavior, kind of, you know...
Yeah, I don't really know about that. The fascinating... Or, like, this is why a lot of people often don't consider this as part of the, like, official Doctor Who canon. Because the whole, like, snake motif with the Master...
Oh, my God.
It has never happened before, and it never happens again.
And, like, the final costume thing where they just straight up rip off Flash Gordon.
Maybe?
When it comes up later, you'll see. It's literally point for point.
The collar thing?
It's the whole, like, outfit. Yeah, but, like, he's got the, like, weird winged robe thing. Or
I just assumed that was something that they had come up with, like, in the 70s or some shit, or even before.
No. That's straight out of Flash
They're like,
Gordon.
fair enough, okay.
Or at least so heavily inspired by, as, like, people get next to each other, you would say.
Because that has come back several times.
This was, I think, the first time they did that, though. The big old flashy costume for him.
I think. But anyway.
What doctor on call goes to the opera? She's on call.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it's just...
And also you've got the classic kind of, like, insecure boyfriend.
Oh, you have this beautiful smoke show.
And he's like...
a doctor.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, but you don't give me enough attention. She's a fucking heart surgeon.
She's on call, And she went to the opera with you to make sure that you were happy. She gives you enough attention.
Yeah.
That's more than most people who date a doctor get, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I will say, like, as much as some of the dialogue in this movie is horrendously cringe.
It's, yeah. I mean, they
But
didn't
is
get the
that
best
not
writers.
kind of par for the course
It's a
of...
90s movie.
Of a 90s movie. And as much as Doctor Who had become a phenomenon in the States by, like, the Tom Baker era, because that's, like, what everybody thinks, like, a lot of people's first image. It's like, oh, yeah, the long scarf guy. So, like, it had been established here for a while, but even then, like, I don't think we were getting the best budget in the world.
No. God, no. I don't think
So, like-
Doctor Who's ever had, like,
Yeah.
anything to write home about for a budget. They do well with what they have.
Oh, yeah, but that's why, like, all the old episodes were filmed in, like, some fucking quarry in Wales whenever they had to go to a different different
season
planet.
1, it's like they live in, like, a dumpster, and then they travel to the quarry in Wales for all the scenes.
Yep.
Here's a fake tree, so this quarry in Wales looks like a jungle. Here's...
Yep.
oh my gosh.
This is another thing that's, like, deep. Again, this is, like, just such a deeply fucked up way for any incarnation of this character to
Such
go
a
out.
gruesome death.
Yeah,
Just
it's
painful and...
And, like, begging, like, don't kill me. What
Right.
the hell?
Oh, man. It's a pretty dark scene.
The attempt, like, this is the thing. This is the attempt to kind of, like, you know, gritty Americanize
This
Doctor
is the
Who.
First attempt at a Christopher Nolan version of Batman kind of thing. you know?
essentially.
Yeah.
Where they're like, let's rub some dirt on this and see what that gets us.
You know that the show would have bombed had they actually transferred it over, though, because they would have gone more gritty.
Oh, 100%.
It would have been one of those.
And, like, again, I think that is one of the biggest selling points of, like, both before and after this of Doctor Who is that, like, yeah, there are a lot of episodes that, like, touch on stuff. Like, there's an episode that's, like, you know, during, like, the freaking, like, air raids in the UK, and it's, like, dealing with some really heavy shit, but it is also so very accessible to, like, anybody.
Yeah.
Like, it can be operating on so many different levels at the same time, so it's, like, if you're older, more mature, you're getting more out of this, but, like, also, there's some cool aliens for the kiddies.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Star Wars for a classy British audience.
Essentially, that's why I got the tea.
Oh, nice.
I also just, I don't really do coffee.
Oh, well, I love my coffee and I love my tea.
I'm already bitter enough.
Fair enough. Oh, I'll get the bitter out of you with some of our future movies.
Oh,
we're gonna get a sassy. You made me watch this out of you.
I'll do it right now.
I guarantee we'll get it.
Is that how you're feeling?
No, this one's not. I thought it was gonna be. You know, you're like you're gonna hate it and everything, and you know I don't like Doctor Who. I didn't hate it.
I think I'm overly defensive of this movie because I had an ex-boyfriend who, like, he always seemed to feel like it was his job to be smarter than I whenever we were watching.
Oh, boo.
And, like, we could watch his cringe movies, and like, he would have nothing to say about it. Like, you know, as much as I love the movie, like, Starship Troopers, for example.
Oh,
it's cringe.
terrible. It's so bad.
It's messy. But, like, you know, him being in the fucking military. Sorry. I mean, Air Force. I don't know if you have anything.
Barely the military.
I was about to say, if you have anything negative to say about that, you can
The Chair
you
Force.
you can get that back in
Yeah.
at me. But that was fine because he could, like, you know, be all annoying about it and use his and be like, oh, that's like this acronym that he would never tell me what it stood for, and then just say it all the time to make me feel stupid. Or, like, no matter how many times I said that it made me feel stupid, he would just keep saying the acronyms. But as soon as I turned on something that was, like, a little bit cringe or had a plot hole, he was like, oh, well, actually, like, that wouldn't work out because this is... I'm like, So this is something that I have actually, up until meeting Kyle, have never shown another human being.
Oh.
Or, like, never watched in the same room as another person because I knew that whoever was going to be watching it with me was going to make fun of it, but not from the same place of unconditional love that I would be making fun of it from.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm obviously not coming from a place of unconditional love, but I also don't really want to make fun of it too much. It did a good job. I mean, IMDb has it at 6.3 with 10,000 reviews.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
That's not bad.
That really is not. Anyway, I feel like there's such a jump in my notes because I have the thing about how like the snake motif never shows up again, which we haven't actually reached yet.
Right. Yeah. Mine jump ahead now.
During the sort of do I want to call it that? Yeah, or like the whole regeneration thing. Also, I gotta say, this movie, my least favorite regeneration animation.
Oh, I don't even remember what it was.
It's usually like there's usually like a lot of light involved, and it's really cool. And it's like, you know, there's a showiness to it.
Okay.
Whereas this
flair.
one, his face just sort of morphs, and it's like, okay, he's a new guy now. I'm like, oh, god damn it, like, have a
Man,
little
she
fun.
can run in that dress.
Have a little fun with it, man. I don't know. God, imagine looking that good.
While running in effectively a prom dress.
Yeah. Oh, fine as hell. You love to see it. Anyway.
Yeah, and then like the next thing that I have a note on was about how as this movie diverges when they continue, Chang just goes with the master, pretty much no questions asked, and Grace just kind of goes with the doctor, pretty much no questions asked.
I kind of understand her no questions asked at the very least because she asks at least like 2 more questions than Chang ever asks.
That's true.
And also, she did see like the surgical probe that she lost coming out of this man's fucking rib cage.
Oh, that is true.
So that
She's
would
already a little
persuade
confused.
me.
Yeah.
Or I would find that, if nothing else, compelling.
But like she goes deep into just taking his side of the story pretty quick though. Right? I think so. It's been like 2 weeks since I watched it.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to remember.
Been a hot minute. But kind of, yeah, but also I think you would lose the audience if you really tried to explain in enough detail for her to like truly be on his side, because there's so fucking much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, there's just later on when he like sticks his hand through the glass and everything, I get why she buys his story now.
yeah, that's like, things are happening here.
Yeah. Can't pretend he doesn't at least have some knowledge of what he's talking about.
I gotta say, for this whole thing, the fact that they have like the OG Frankenstein on the the TV in the break room, I'm like, that's a little bit on the nose.
I didn't notice that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. See, attention to detail. This movie's got a lot of work and a lot of love was put into this.
Which I feel like that happens when you have a show that's running for long enough that like the people who are now working on it grew up watching it.
Yeah,
Where
that's
it's
true.
like, oh my god, now like I get to work on the movie for this, like even if it is like, you know, not the best production budget or whatever. It's like, yeah, this is the best thing ever.
Hot take, that's why the Star Wars TV shows are so much better than the movies that are coming out these days.
I wouldn't know. I haven't really watched many of them, but I'll believe it.
So, you know, you have these people that grew up with original Star Wars, then finally, 20 years later, they're getting the sequels, or sorry, prequels, and then finally, 20 years later, they're getting the sequels, and they're growing up with all this, and then they're getting an opportunity, because they're now of age, to write for the shows, or direct the shows, or whatever, and they're just so good. They would, all of the love and attention to detail, callbacks to old novels that are no longer canon, you know,
Yeah.
it's just in there, especially Dave Filoni, it's just out there, like, killing it.
Alright, point taken.
Yeah, there you go. Big
Yeah.
ups to Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
I was just typing that before you even said it.
That's funny. Yeah. No, like, really, and what's his name? Jon Favreau. Fucking shout out to him for the live actions, man. Like, The Mandalorian
Yeah.
and all those. But you're not a huge Star Wars fan, so I'll just say.
I am an original trilogy, like, I fucking love those movies, man.
Well, yeah.
They're fucking great. But, like, at this point, I saw somebody say about, like, the Star Wars and Marvel extended universes where it's, like, every movie, like, there's a moment where you're supposed to clap when they say a name. And I'm
Yeah.
just so tired of it.
You're just waiting for that moment, like when the cameo comes. Even the
Yeah.
shows are a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But they're better. You know, plus they're not about the same family anymore, which is nice. You know, it's such following
Yeah.
ancestors or
Yeah, see,
descendants.
this is
of
what I was
Anakin.
talking about. The fact that they have the OG.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Yes,
Frankenstein.
and as it's happening in
Yeah,
his
this
bed,
is
he's
my
getting
this is my
lightning.
least favorite regeneration animation.
It's so bad. It's got that 90s, like, when there's a flashing light, you see the skeleton thing going on.
Yeah, no, I don't like it.
And his facial morphing is just...
No,
Gross.
it's bad. I like when they do this sort of like light explosion thing. I'm so shocked that you didn't notice this.
I was probably writing something down,
That's so valid.
you know.
But yeah.
Because, like, if you look away for half a second, you're not on that screen anymore, you're on this.
See, that's why it's fun. I like watch every movie that I'm supposed to talk about on the stream with Kyle, because he's my little pause boy.
Yeah. Pause.
Yep, essentially. Yeah. I gotta say, one thing about this, like, about the budget restrictions that I'm sure existed, I don't understand. What was the point of putting Paul McGann in a wig that looked exactly like his hair was at the time? Like, there's literally...
He hated the wig, too. I
No,
think I
know.
read that.
There's, like, I don't know if there's a way that I can throw this up on the screen in any sort of timely manner, but, like, this is him doing a screen test for this movie. He literally has the exact same hair.
It's like a hair longer in this, but he could have just grown it out for a month before starting filming.
Yeah, it's literally the exact same. I don't know what the point was, especially a wig where the lace front really wasn't that great.
No.
So, like, just why is essentially my question. When you could have, like, made an easier decision and done less work and had it look better.
Also, how well funded is this hospital that corpses are put into individual rooms?
Not a clue. I mean, it is San Francisco.
But, you know, like, normally it's like a wall of tiny little slide-in things.
Yeah,
for
but then you
bodies.
couldn't do that.
I understand. He could have kicked out the little square door out the front.
Yeah.
But that's just crazy. That
No,
was like
you're right. That is nuts.
It was like a 6x8 room with 10-foot ceilings refrigerated for a single corpse?
That's a little excessive.
That's
I would 100% agree.
impractical. Oh my god, he just looked at the TV and saw Frankenstein.
Yeah.
How did I miss this when I watched
I don't know.
on the screen so many times?
I will say, big ups to Grace, Daphne Ashbrook's character, for sticking to her guns in the face of corruption at the hospital. I liked that.
Oh yeah.
Slay, queen.
Yes.
The fact that she actually walked, too,
Yeah.
you love to see it.
I liked what they did there as he's walking through the hall after he just got out of the regenerated and got out of the
Yeah.
morgue area, where they kind of like twisted the screen slowly, like because like TARDIS zooms in and stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
I gotta say, I do enjoy these, like, couple seconds of Paul McGann just walking around like a wet kitten. And just, like, being very confused and afraid of everything.
Do they always forget everything when they get regenerated? Because again, not big on Doctor Who, I don't know.
Depends on the, it's happened before, it's happened worse. The third Doctor forgot that he was a Time Lord.
Well, he forgets that too. He doesn't remember it right now. He remembers it later, I think.
Or, like, I think it was, like, for an extended period of time.
I might be wrong though. I think he forgets that he's a Time Lord.
I think he just forgets the name of the planet, but you could be right. But yeah, it's happened before and it's happened worse. So, this isn't particularly egregious in any way, shape, or form. Yet this is a bit much.
Fall to my knees, you know, Jesus pose. As
I
he
was literally
realizes.
about to say.
Do you think that the Master had sex with Eric Roberts' wife?
Probably.
In that, no.
I would assume so. Because she makes some
I mean,
comment.
his face is really wet.
Yeah, 'cause she... Stop. But, like, no, she makes some comment in the morning.
She does. That's what I'm saying. Like when they wake up,
So-
I can't remember what she said, but it's, "Oh, aren't you in a good mood this morning?" or something. You know.
Something like that, yeah. It's like,
Exactly. You know.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my god.
Again, there isn't much. This is a horrible haircut for Eric Roberts, by the way. But also, have you seen what he looked like before this? Like,
No.
I
Was he a smoke show?
Oh my god, I stumbled across, like, someone just made a thirst trap of their own volition for TikTok. Hello?
My god.
Yeah.
Those eyes.
Uh-huh.
He could see right into my soul. And right out of my hole. Oh, there you go. You pulled
Yeah.
it up there, yeah. Oh, man.
That's exactly the one all the way to the right of the first row. Like, that is one of the photos in the... That's the exact thirst trap! that's not even that bad. Yeah, no, I was just like, hello? But yeah, no, it's not a good look for him, what they have going on in this movie.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't look well.
Yeah, it's not great. Although, I gotta say, this is sort of edging into our trivia section a little bit, but,
we're freeform here.
love it. Did you know they fucking considered David Bowie for the Master?
I did
Do you
see
know
that.
how much money I would have paid?
They also considered Christopher Lloyd for that American tie-in, but I think I would rather have seen Bowie.
Oh, 100% I would rather have seen Bowie.
That movie I would have enjoyed no matter what.
We were robbed.
Ziggy Stardust is the Doctor.
We were robbed.
The hell was David Bowie working on that he couldn't do this, right?
What was he working on in 1996?
It's almost like I have someone
Oh God,
to look
was
this
it
up for me.
was it Black Tie White Noise? It wasn't worth it, bro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is what you're talking about.
Let's
she's
see.
like,
It's,
"Ooh,
that's
come
like
back to
I'm
bed."
Afraid of Americans around that era.
Oh, that's not worth it. This would have been better.
It was no Ziggy Stardust.
There she is. See, she's waking up with that smile.
Yeah, no.
You
Definitely,
know that
definitely
woman
went
got
at
the
it.
O last night.
Definitely went at it. This probably is the absolute messiest.
And then he kills her.
Yeah, and then he kills her. This really is the absolute messiest that Doctor Who canon ever gets.
Well, in the whole thing with it was cut, but where his body was supposed to slowly decay.
Yeah.
The only scene they kept in was the fingernail scene, which, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that bothers you?
I mean, it's on the list of things that if something could bother me, it would be on there.
I don't have like a horror. Like I know some people who are like, I can't watch anything that has like, no matter how like fake
Eyes
or
or,
whatever.
you know,
It's like
yeah.
I can't watch anything that has to do with eyes, or I can't watch anything that has to do with like teeth.
Yeah.
I don't really have one of those.
I get the nails on chalkboard feeling from it, you know? Like,
I mean,
ugh.
yeah, like there's definitely things where I see it and I'm like, ugh, but
That's when he peels it off. And the way he does it so slow while making eye contact, it just adds to the...
Mummy.
Mummy? This guy with his frostbite. And like I said, does he not look like Gene Wilder from Willy Wonka at this point?
Yeah, he really kind of, God, that lace front fucking sucks. Why did they do you so dirty like this?
I'm not sure I understand that particular camera shot. I get that they're going from his POV, which it feels like they do that a little
I mean,
bit
I'm sure
much.
there would be a sort of ridiculous hangover-like experience after dying and
Yeah.
having your body stitch itself back together, but new.
I want to shit on that, but that's literally how the spell in D&D works for reincarnation. It just summons your spirit and generates a body, so you have to roll randomly to see what your new race is.
Fascinating. I've never played D&D because I've never had enough friends.
Oh, well, I'm trying to get a campaign going, so
Hell yeah.
we can support on-site and remote. We're thinking about hosting here. News, nerds! We're thinking about doing a D&D campaign as well.
Nice.
Not sure if we'll stream it. We're not very funny.
Speak for yourself.
But yeah, yeah. So that's literally how that reincarnation spell. You died an elf, but when someone reincarnates you, you come back as an elf because that's just what you rolled on a random table. Because it's literally just
They yoink your spirit back from the ether.
yeah, and then just the universe just generates a body for it.
Fascinating. Before when he's like when he like sneaks into the back of her car, he's like, "You have to get me out of here before they kill me again." I'm like, that's a pretty good line. I liked that.
Yeah, no, that was a great line, and she has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh yeah, no, deeply confusing. But again, if I saw like the surgical probe that I lost in a cadaver, like start sticking out of some guy's ribs, I'd be like, I would be compelled.
Yeah.
As I've already said.
I'd have questions.
I would certainly want some follow-up.
Yeah, like the depth you want to for this scam or hoax is very far.
Yeah, really impressive. I also just, this fucking half-human thing that they bring up, half-human on his mother's side or whatever,
Oh.
That's 10 Sonic. I brought 8 Sonic with me.
This one's hefty.
That is
That's an actual screwdriver also.
No
The
shit.
heavy
That's
one.
hilarious. It's got the hole for the bits in there.
Yeah,
Wait, here,
yeah.
hold on. Does it do the?
The batteries are dead. It would light up though and make the noise.
But does it do the pop up thing?
No.
One I have does the pop up thing.
That's really neat. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, so half human on my mother's side.
Never comes up again.
Yeah, and it's like a whole thing. I feel like I wrote something down about that.
And also, like,
but I don't
no,
remember.
you're not, because there's an episode in David Tennant's run as the Doctor where you supposedly, like, there's some hole in the universe, so you get, like, a glimpse of his mother at some point, and she's just another fucking Time Lord.
Yeah, which makes the most sense anyway.
Yeah, so it's like, this is why people have beef with this movie.
It made a lot of random choices.
It made a lot of very random choices, but again, there are things happening for it that I really like. Like, again, finally making the Doctor, like, a little bit, like, good with the ladies or whatever. Because, like, he's been alive for this fucking long. I would expect him to have some game.
I mean, yeah, he would know how to talk to people.
Yeah. That's a pretty good practical, I will say.
Yeah, no, they did great here with him pulling the probe out. I mean,
Yeah.
that shock on her face. It just looks like a meat thermometer.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose, but if you like, she knows.
Right.
Like, this is a thing that just happened to her.
Right. She literally just used that last night in that spot on someone.
Yeah.
And then she drives off with him still in the car. I don't get it.
I mean, I would just be like, I kind of do. I just be like, okay, we have to get out of here where things aren't happening and just, like, talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is good when they have his hair slicked back.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely better.
He does look like a
It's
Terminator
very
knockoff.
Terminator-ish.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
the
I do
shades
buy
also.
him.
That's the thing. The shades also pretty fly.
I do buy him as a, oh, you butt.
Bad
You
producer.
son of a butt.
Bad producer.
Oh, he didn't do it as slow as I thought. I remembered it much slower.
I mean, even then, it's.
Oh, but, like, she just goes back to conversation with him for the most part.
And this is. I just feel like it's the city dweller's ability to simply decline to perceive things that are none of your business.
Yeah, that's true. It's very...
If
well,
you see something in a
You
giant
do you,
hospital
boo-boo.
in San Francisco,
Yeah.
like, I would just be like, you know what? This isn't my problem.
Other than the fact they threw it on the floor, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have been like, hey, no littering. Which would have been a great line.
That would have been a
Oh my
fantastic
god.
line.
If a custodian was just like, hey, no littering.
Actually, I do.
I want that.
I gotta say, like, their choice of time and place for this, like, the final day of 1999, is a fantastic setting for any sort of, like, science fiction race against time type story.
It really is.
Like, hell yes!
That whole millennium switch. You know,
Beautiful.
it's good. It's good. How many movies are set in 1999 as it switches to 2000? I don't know.
No others that I can think of.
When is End of Days set? I thought it was set for 1999. That was the whole thing, is the beast number is actually not 666, it's 999. And so every 1,000 years it happens. So in 1999, Arnold Schwarzenegger has to become Jesus and stop the devil from taking over the world. Have you not seen End of Days?
No.
Oh my god.
Think you just found your next movie?
It's not a sci-fi movie, it's a possession movie. Well, no, it's not even that. It's like an end of the world demon movie. I don't know how to describe it.
I was raised Catholic to the point that the idea of watching The Exorcist was scarier to me than the actual
Oh,
movie.
yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like more afraid of the notion of watching The Exorcist than I was at any point watching The Exorcist.
Anything in The Exorcist that... So there was nothing in The Exorcist that I found scary. There was definitely like, oof. Like, ooh.
I think, and this is me getting so off topic
Oh,
here,
yeah, we're
but
off the
like,
railroad.
I think the genuine most upsetting thing in The Exorcist is all of these scenes of like a small child who does not know what the fuck is happening to her, like screaming for her mother.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrifying. Or like undergoing these like highly invasive, like painful medical procedures.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, that's the worst thing about The Exorcist. But anyway, reining it back in, I reminded myself of that because I thought of the probe, and then I was like, oh yeah, that shit happened. Like, there's things like that happen in The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
There is some sort of A to B in my head. It's just not always the one that you might think.
Well, we were also on a possession demon movie because we were talking about 1999, so there was a lot of tie-ins there.
We did it.
Got back.
Got back to it. Yeah, again, fantastic setting. I gotta say, like, the janky hair aside, Paul McGann is cute. I think he's really cute.
I mean, I want to see them traversing the world, solving mysteries.
No,
They're
it is
beautiful people.
such a shame that these two never got to, like,
That's what he reminds me of.
do more with these characters, like explore the relationship between the two of them, because there is a point towards the end, the dynamic between them is so fucking entertaining to watch. Like, I'm getting way ahead of myself here.
That's okay.
But just like when they're on the run trying to get to the beryllium clock, like stand aside before I shoot myself, and she's just like, okay, we are rolling with it. Like, things like that, or the finishing each other's sentences when he's like, oh yeah, I hide the key, oh, above the door, up you go, like, and then immediately just giving her boot. Like, they gel so well together, and I'm so upsetting that they didn't have time to, like, stay in this universe.
Oh my god, he really is. Okay, we'll get there.
For any sort of extended period of time.
Sorry, I just
I
recognized.
think you just pulled the movie all the way back to the beginning, bro.
Oh no!
Whoopsies.
Like over here, over here, over here. This is not a particularly long film.
No, it really isn't.
We were just past that. Yeah, because that's what made me. I was looking at him in this scene, and it made me think of him as I do recognize him from one other movie. I probably know him from other things, but that face I recognize from The Three Musketeers, the best version of The Three Musketeers.
Is that the one that Peter Capaldi was also in? As Cardinal Richelieu?
Oh no! This has Tim Curry as Cardinal Richelieu.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's the one with Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Paul McGann. What's his name? Chris O'Donnell.
Oh.
Robin from the terrible versions of Batman. Not Chris O'Donnell. Right? No, that is Chris O'Donnell.
No.
I've zoned out what we're talking about.
Who's Robin in the Batman movie?
Chris O'Donnell, yeah.
Yeah, okay, Chris O'Donnell. On that bad NCIS LA or whatever.
I will say, one of the older movies that I know Paul McGann from is called. Have you ever seen With Nail and I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. It's him and what's his fucking face? Richard E. Grant. They're these two, like, struggling actors who live in a shitty apartment, and it's just like one of those movies where, like, nothing happens, but it's just sort of like a slice of life.
Okay.
It's awesome. I love it.
Okay.
So, highly recommend. Oh, what, you didn't like that one?
Donner, come on. Oh yeah, so we were talking earlier about some of the people that they'd considered, and I found a list of people considered for it that I was like, "Are you shitting me?"
Mm-hmm.
And
Bowie being one of them. I was
Bowie,
just like,
yeah.
come on.
Tom Hanks,
Bad.
yes, and he turned it down because
Here,
he
you
thought
know
it'd be
what?
bad.
I'm gonna go through whatever one you say. I'm gonna tell you what I think of it.
Okay, so you have Tom Hanks.
Bad.
Yep. Jim Carrey.
Maybe.
Oh.
Possible.
Harrison Ford.
Bad.
But yeah, Tom Hanks turned it down because he's a Doctor Who fan. He turned it down as he felt an American playing the role would not do it justice. Ford turned it down because he didn't want to work in television. And Carey, who had never seen a single episode of Doctor Who, turned down the role as he felt it would cause outrage amongst Doctor Who fans if it was played by someone who wasn't a fan of the show.
I mean, assuming that Eric Roberts was at the very least a Doctor Who enjoyer? I don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice consideration to make when you're thinking about accepting a role, whether or not, like, people would actually want you to.
Yeah. Will this annoy people? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be hated for this.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is a thing that more people could stand to consider.
Right?
Just in general.
I'm not going to do this because I don't want to be hated for it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's it.
That's
That's
fine.
all that. Sometimes you just need to have that in
That's
the back
good
of
enough.
your brain. One of the other things I did love about this, where like it's just one of those like silly ass quick little things. Love the like in and out gag with the motorcycle the cop motorbike going into the TARDIS and then getting turned around and going right back out the door. I was like, that's fun. That's always what you do when you have the sort of like dimensional shift.
Why does he hold up a magnifying glass in this scene? He's acting like he doesn't know how people work.
I mean,
I guess they're just going for like fun and goofy.
He's always also just kind of like every incarnation is deeply fucking odd in some way, shape, or form. Of just like I've been alive for so long that I don't care about like these social niceties unless it's going to like unless I can like seduce someone to give me the information that I need.
I was just gonna say unless it can get him into her pants, then he will do it.
See, this I just love. Like the dynamic between these two is fantastic, and I'm so salty that this is all we ever got.
Her level of excitement with him, though, is a little bit weird. Again,
I'd be kind of pumped, too, but...
I don't know if I'd be...
Maybe that's also just because I think he's cute, and I'm a highly excitable person to begin with.
Yeah.
So. Like, sometimes it'd be
the fourth wall break there, though. Not my favorite. They're, like, flirting and talking and stuff, and then he runs off, and she's kind of like...
Could you blame me, though? Essentially. I could say something incredibly incriminating right now.
What?
About myself, personally. I've been working on a fanfiction of this movie for like 10 years, and I still haven't finished of it. And I still haven't finished it.
Oh my god. We'll have to critique it when it's done.
No.
We'll do a live read. I'll read the whole thing.
No. My AO3 username dies with me. Nobody needs to know that, ever. I can make any allusions I want to the fact that I write and read fanfiction quite a bit, but no one will ever see what I have written and know that it is mine.
Fair.
That's my only secret in this life. I will tell anyone literally anything, just not that.
Okay. Fair. I mean, those are your secrets to keep.
Anyway.
I don't really have any other, like, the facts have just come up kind of.
Yeah. My other kind of, like, really just kind
stuff.
of quick rundown of my last couple things is, like,
yeah.
I did not notice that it was kind of a you said Flash Gordon, right?
Flash Gordon, yeah.
Ripoff, because that is something that is still on my list I have yet to see. I think it looks fucking great, regardless of the fact that it is either stolen or very heavily inspired. Like, it's just a cool design. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like...
I should have just had Chris pull it up. I don't know why I did that. That makes it more complicated.
It also is just a cool design.
No, again, it's a very fun Evil Dude design. And when I say that they stole it and ripped it off, let me be clear. Everyone stole it and ripped it off.
Yeah.
You need a, super evil dude. That's what you want him to look like.
I gotta say, the fact that Paul McGann was a theater dude for quite some time really does start to shine through in the end.
Oh, yeah.
To the point that it's almost a little bit much, but I also don't fault him for it, because, like, if you're, that you fall back on what you know best.
Yeah.
So,
there is a difference in the acting styles you would expect from a theater actor.
Yeah.
It shows sometimes.
I gotta say, the Master's defeat makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. Not at all.
Every part of the Master in this is just so weird to me. Which
is why people are like, there's huge debates over whether or not this technically counts as canon. And frankly, I don't even care if it does, because they say so many things that are shown to be...
not to be.
I do want it not to be, almost, because they say so many things that are shown to be objectively not fucking true by the rest of the show.
It's like, yeah, you have this many seasons before that prove that wrong, so many.
And then you have this many seasons
we continue on without you.
That also prove that wrong.
Show that that's not true.
This is just a fun little, universe, 2 inches to the left.
Yeah.
Of everything else that is considered 100% Doctor Who canon TM. Master's Defeat makes no sense. Same with Grace and Chang's resurrections. Fucking whatever, man.
It's just like fine, but that's why if you just remove the little bit of Whovian to this, because there's not a whole lot of Whovian.
There really isn't a shit ton other than the fact that other than the lead characters. And frankly, if you change the names and make up some other shit.
Yeah, don't have him regenerate. Just have them find out he has a second heart. He survives that whole thing.
Yeah, he's just some other sci-fi character.
Yeah, space traveling sci-fi character with an
you-
evil guy.
Who who wants to stop him from taking over the phone.
Now it sounds like an 80s or early 90s sci-fi movie.
And even then, that sounds like a fucking great time to me.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, my two final notes are I adore this movie with my whole heart. I don't give a fuck how much of a mess she is. And God tier New Year's Eve watch.
Okay. Well, now I have to have a New Year's Eve movie, so I already remembered one, and if I find a better one, I'm not watching this every New Year's Eve.
That's so valid.
It's gonna be End of Days.
Alright. Alright, I can rock with that.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger is some city cop, and I can't remember the guy who plays a priest, who I think becomes the bad guy. It's been a long time.
I was about to say, a cop becoming Jesus sounds like...
Well, basically, he ends up sacrificing himself to save the world from the turn of the millennium when the devil's gonna come back and destroy the world.
Like the
Very
ultimate, like,
Armageddon-y.
MAGA wet dream.
Oh, God.
A cop becoming Jesus.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, my God. I don't have... I mean, the movie is literally still going somehow.
A little
this is
over
the thing.
halfway.
This movie should have been either so much longer in 2 movies or 3 movies, or so much shorter.
Yeah.
And it's only an hour and a half long, so it really can't be shorter.
Yeah. Well, that's why there's so many examples, especially, like, way back when, like, Doctor Who first started, they would do, like, 10-episode arcs. But, like, even now, they'll do, like, 3, 4.
But that's good,
And, like, that's perfect. Like, it gives it... Because if it's, like, 3 hour... Or, like, it's, like, the spot's, like, an hour sometimes, or, like, 1 ad break. So, like, 3, like, 45-minute and change television episodes, you have room to breathe.
Right.
Which this does not have as much as it should, because again, there's so much lore that they could be working with,
And
whether or not
yeah.
they actually like chose to. They kind of cherry picked like what parts of all of the background of Doctor Who they wanted to base this on and like actually include. But like there's so much of it, like just like even the fact that you're going with this character who is a Time Lord, there's hours there
Yeah.
that you're trying to...
So this is a like 100-minute movie. If they brought it down to 88 minutes, took out all of the Doctor Who specific references,
I
now we're talking about a
Right.
cheesy 7 or 8 for me, you
Yeah,
know?
ton
And
of
again,
my
it's not the fact that it's Doctor Who that brings it down, it's just the fact that it doesn't execute. You have to know enough about Doctor Who to watch this, or it's not that good,
Yeah.
and that's where they went wrong.
Yeah.
Especially when targeting an American audience who were not as big of Doctor Who fans.
Yeah, no, I would say hard agree. But again, I love it because I was so hyperfixated on Doctor Who in high school.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Whatever like media sinks its claws into you when you're 14, it will never leave you.
I think that's if you look at your favorite genre of music and you look at what was popular when you were 14, the summer that you were 14, that's a very close for that Venn diagram being a circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
My
no.
brain melted in the middle of that sentence. So
It happens in some aspects, but yeah, no. Like, I see all the flaws with it, I really do, and I completely understand why people who, like, don't have the same emotional attachment to the characters, the universe, whatever, to, like, or, like, to, like, the sort of emotions that you were experiencing at that time in your life.
yeah.
Like, I guess 14 is a little too recent to be calling quote-unquote nostalgia, even though I am 26, but, like, that sort of more recent nostalgia, I suppose,
No, it's still nostalgia. It's just not as far back for you as it is for me.
Yeah.
See, the prequels for Star Wars were my 13 and 14 time frame.
Yeah.
And I'd grown up on the originals, wanting more, reading the books, playing the video games, and then now I'm getting more. And so that's...
brain melting.
yeah. But I think that's my Doctor Who, where it's like, this is bad, but I like it anyway. I still like all the bad stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah, okay. That's completely valid.
Because it's just more Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt at the time when I was like 10 and Crystal Skull came out, because Harrison Ford was like one of my first crushes.
Oh. I mean, Harrison Ford should be everyone's first crush.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's Indiana Jones or
It was Han Solo.
Jack Ryan or Han Solo.
It was Han Solo. Set me up for a lifetime of DILF lust.
Dilf lust.
You can clip that.
Set me up for a lifetime of Dilf lust.
It will come up often.
Oh, God.
Oh, ew!
This is why we have a soundboard. Yay! Yeah. I guess that's...
How's life?
Oh, actually, real quick, let's talk about the cast and crew on this thing and see if there's
Yes.
anybody very overly interesting. So, what's something else that sticks out to you for, let's say, Paul McGann? Was there another role he had that you can think of that, like, just...
Yeah, with Nell and I. That was a great freaking movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The
You mentioned that.
character's name was Marwood, I think, is the only thing they ever really refer to him as. But it's just one of those movies. Again, nothing really happens, but I love it. Like, this little glimpse into these two lives is so fun. Because it is a pretty comedic movie.
Okay. Well, I'll check it out at some point.
Yeah, I really like it.
I recognize him from, like I said, the Three Musketeers movie from the 90s,
Yeah.
where he plays an ancillary but recurring character throughout the movie. Have you ever seen that one
I have
version?
not.
Okay. So D'Artagnan in that movie, played by Chris O'Donnell, is like sleeping with his sister in like a barn and chases him off with his three brothers or whatever.
Yeah.
And they just keep showing up later on as D'Artagnan is going through the movie and joining the Musketeers. They keep showing up, chasing him and stuff. So he's a small recurring role in that.
I gotta say, it is so funny whenever there's any... Because as much as people have beef with this being canon or not, Paul McGann is still considered one of the quote-unquote classic Who doctors. So every time there's a convention that a bunch of, like, actors who were in, like, ye old original run of Doctor Who
Right.
they always, like, there's a bunch of examples of, like, pictures of all of them together, and it's so funny because it's all these grandpas and then just, like, this one guy in his, like, late 50s or something who's aging really well.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other.
Wait. Eric Roberts has been in too many things to, like, pick another role that stands out, I think.
I have a really weird small role, or, like, I think this might have been another movie that only ever got, like, a super small release or, like, a TV release or some crazy shit. But we watched it in the criminal law class that I took in high school because it was about In Cold Blood. It was like a TV movie version of In Cold Blood. And Eric Roberts played... what's his fucking name? It's Perry something.
Perry Mason.
No. One of the...
Perry
like,
Platypus.
might have been Smith, but, like, one of the killers. And, like, again, for a lower budget sort of TV release, he kind of slayed.
I mean, it's Eric Roberts, yeah. He just gets up there and puts out Eric Roberts.
Yeah, no. Also, my brief interaction with him was lovely. He was very nice.
I didn't have the pleasure of meeting him.
He signed
at the last
my
Comic-Con.
DVD copy of.
Oh
the
my
Doctor
gosh,
Who
that's
movie.
who signed it.
Yeah.
Oh.
He pointed to himself on the DVD cover.
That's
It just says,
so
it
funny.
says, Bridget, not a nice man! Exclamation point.
I love it so much.
Like, thank you, sir.
That's
And
so
I was
cool.
in my hastily thrown together 8th Doctor cosplay during that interaction, which was nice.
Fair enough. I didn't cosplay at all at Saratoga Comic-Con.
I
put on the Clone Trooper album a couple times.
I love cosplay so much. Like, when I was a
I like
kid,
doing it, but
well, that was the thing. When I was a kid, like, we had like, you know, the bin of like old Halloween costumes and just like random, like, you know, random like princess dresses bought from like the Disney store or whatever. And like that was like my favorite freaking activity was like dress up TM. And I always loved Halloween, and now it's just like, oh, okay, great, this is an excuse to just do that.
Yeah.
Love it. And God, the fucking satisfaction when you put so much time and money and effort into making sure that like whatever you're building, because I'm like a raging perfectionist,
Yeah.
and I want it to be as screen accurate as humanly possible. So like when I've put so much time, effort, money into like doing that, and then I like I'm walking around and I get people being like, oh my God, it looks so good, or like, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, yes.
That is a good
Validate
feeling.
me!
That is a very good feeling. That's happened a couple
And
of
like
times.
I don't do it exclusively for that, but it's just the feeling of like I worked really hard on this and it paid off. So satisfying.
Gotta see my cosplay. That's Chris's wife saying you gotta come check out her cosplay closet. She is a cosplayer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. We follow each other's cosplay accounts
Oh,
on
okay,
Instagram.
good. All right, yeah. But yeah, I don't think Daphne Ashbrook has really been in anything notable.
This really is the only thing I
Like
know her
a
from.
ton of like one-offs. I remember seeing like, oh, here's a TV show. She did one episode. Here's a TV show. She did 2
I
episodes.
mean, everyone of a certain era was on like one freaking episode of the X-Files.
Oh, it's the X-Files.
Yeah,
It has
I love the
11
X-Files.
billion seasons.
I love the X-Files so much.
So I didn't watch it when it was new. I just started watching it maybe 6 months ago. I got to the end of season 5, and then wanted to go into season 6, but it started with these like flashbacks that hadn't happened.
It's the movie.
Because it's the movie. So I had to pause and then watch the movie. And all I can say is the movie was an entirely different caliber of filmmaking. It was so good.
The movie is the best that the X-Files have ever been.
Yes.
Because it was riding the
And that was
height
the
of its
problem.
the height of its popularity. It was making the most money so they could pour it all back into the movie.
Yep. That movie reinvigorated me to enjoy X-Files, because that's sort of, it was getting dry for me. I was, and then I went into season 6, and they did keep the production budget up, and they did keep the story more contained and like relevant.
I think one of the things with the X-Files is that they accidentally created a like mythos so much bigger than they knew what to do with.
Yeah. And I don't know that they planned to make it the overarching story in the beginning.
No, they did
So it was like,
not.
here's a mythos, and then, oh no,
And it's like, oh,
it's more important
shit.
than everything else we're doing.
Yeah, god damn it.
That happened to Supernatural, too. Same thing. They were doing Monster of the Week, and it was very fun, but they also had, like, a little bit of a main storyline going.
And I was like, okay, that
and
show
then the
should
main
have...
storyline took over.
That show should have ended in, like, the 5th season. It would have been perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Would have been
Agreed.
absolutely fucking fantastic.
If they had done 5 or 6 seasons in a movie, and the same thing with X-Files. They did their 5 seasons in a movie. If that had been where it, like, ended, that would have been, yes, chef's kiss. For
I
sure.
have so much beef with the new X-Files, like the 2 revivals.
Again, I didn't really pay attention to them too much because I didn't watch it when it was in the 90s. It was new.
I wrote a scathing review of one of those for my college newspaper.
That's awesome.
Tore it to pieces.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to rewatch them when I get to them. I'm just not there yet.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Oh yeah, fun fact.
I love a fun fact.
Eliza Roberts plays Eric Roberts' wife in this. That's his real wife.
Aww. That's so cute.
Yeah. I like it when stuff like that happens. And I believe they were already married. I just remember them now that I'm looking at it, and also you can see her IMDb picture is with him, just to make sure people are clear. She's related to Eric Roberts. No, it's not a coincidence. My last name is that because of who my husband is.
Yeah. Like, that's so cute.
But I believe they were married before the film, and that was just like a thing that she.
I mean, yeah. If you're, especially like, because everyone who's fucking famous lives in California anyway. If you're shooting in California, fuck it, she's right there.
Nothing wrong with little nepotism.
Yeah, whatever, man.
I'll take the nepotism over the. No, I'm not gonna. We're not doing a political. We're not gonna do it.
Sips tea.
Yeah.
We would like to be a short break from the horrors.
Yeah, this is exactly right. Yep.
That is what I've
We're
said.
a respite.
Yeah, that's what I've said on Fighting with Friends multiple times. I was like, this is a very left-leaning podcast, but we want to be your break from the horrors, so we're not going to talk about it right now.
I sat in for Nick one time, and we made a comment because Chris and I, like, our dialogue, even if we weren't being political, was shifting dramatically to the left without Nick to balance it.
Because Nick wasn't here.
Yeah, and so we were joking around about, calling each other comrade or something. And in the audio for the episode, he actually puts in the Soviet national anthem in the background. It's so good.
I like all the memes about how, like, it's like, you get more conservative as you get older. Every single year of my life has just been slide to the left.
Yeah, exactly. That's just so everybody else in this movie, who cares? It's not Daphne. It's not Paul. It's not Eric.
Besides, like, having scenes that, like, take place in, like, a crowded ballroom or whatever, like, it is a very small principal cast.
Yeah, I mean, none of them matter.
Yeah.
To me, at least, I don't care about any of these people and their careers.
Yeah, no, not even a little bit.
I remember looking up every single person because I wanted to know. That's the thing I forgot to do. Is I was going to look and see if anybody was in Murder, She Wrote. I don't know that anybody is. I can't remember now. I think there was.
Murder, She Wrote was partially...
That's just every time it's mentioned now?
was partially to help older actors who hadn't worked in a little while, like, keep their union card so they could still have health insurance.
Oh, that makes sense.
So fucking go Angela Lansbury.
Yeah. Stick it to the man.
Hell yeah.
Go pro-union.
Always. This is my freaking, my CSEA travel mug.
Nice.
Proud union member.
So, I guess we can back up to where you were headed before. I was like, wait. Let's talk about the actors real quick.
Yes.
What are we up to? Well, we just did Saratoga Comic-Con.
Yes.
It was a blast. I was there for Saturday. I did not come back for Sunday for undisclosed reasons.
Noted. Got
Shut
my
up
Saratoga
over there.
Comic-Con t-shirt.
Yep, you're wearing a Saratoga Comic-Con
Felt
t-shirt.
that was topical.
We had an excellent time there. I mean, I
I
ran into a
blast.
bunch of people. I talked to a bunch of people. I enjoyed most of those conversations. I
Always
definitely can't wait to go back.
Always a good... Oh, no, I love it. It's so fun, especially because it's, like, right there.
Yeah, it's
at least,
hard
like-
for us as vendors because we have to bring everything with us,
Which, like, is one thing that I'm kind of like, not looking... We want to get our own table. Fingers crossed.
Well, we can also get actual banners to hang on our stuff when we're there.
Or
if you
that,
guys
and also, like,
wanna-
if that does wind up being the case, we will happily pull more of our own weight now that we're actually, like,
Yeah.
part of the network.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's always just so much fun.
Did you go to any other concert or did you just do Saratoga?
I have gone to Mid-Hudson before.
Are you going this year?
Maybe. We're not sure yet.
We're gonna be
It's
there.
gonna be a good one.
I will talk to Brooks about that. We'll see what's up. But, done Toricon before. That was fun, 'cause that's right where Brooks lives. Like, literally, like, a 5-minute drive from her apartment.
Oh, that's
so we just,
awesome.
like, go to Toricon, hang out at her apartment and watch anime, go back to Toricon.
Nice.
So, that's super fun. And, like, there's other ones that Brooks and I would also like to do, like Nickel City.
I don't know that one.
I can't remember exactly where it is. Which I should, because it's in the name, I just don't know what.
I'm not sure
City
which
that's
city
in
is
it.
Nickel
It's-
City.
I'm not sure what
It's
city
out
that's in
west.
the
I think.
name
I don't think it's Rochester.
No, it's not Rochester.
It's out. It's Western New York, though. I it's like right on the tip of my tongue. I think I know what con you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's almost like I have an
Nicholson.
internet in front of me, also.
Yeah, right?
very mature.
So we're going to be at Mid-Hudson, so I hope
Buffalo.
you make that. Buffalo.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Cool.
fucking Buffalo Nichols.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
There was your stupid motorcycle scenery choices. It's so stupid, but I
it's
love
so
it.
stupid, but it really is fun. And again, God, this little snippet of just like finishing each other's sentences, and he's immediately like, "All right, give you a lift." Like, oh, I want more of it.
Yeah, they had good chemistry on screen.
They really did.
It would have been fun to the screen that looks like it's a Jeopardy timing malfunction. I'll take timing malfunction for 400.
Yeah. You said Jeopardy. You wanted to participate.
I think it was the gestures. I'm a very
Oh,
handsy talker.
I tend to be a highly expressive individual as well.
There we go. Other than that, we don't have anything going on. Me, personally, it's work, raise a toddler, try to sleep. And then this is my get away from all that.
I have an insanely busy week this week, but other than that, I don't do much. I'm going to a show at Proctor's tomorrow night with my mom and dad.
Suddenly, I'm not as interested in what it is.
That's entirely valid. Have you heard of Six?
No.
Oh, okay. It's
I know that it's a princess.
very funny. No, it's like I mean, I guess you could kind of call it a concept album. It's a musical about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, and the concept is that you, the audience, are seeing the 6 wives of Henry VIII in concert. It sounds weird as fuck, but it's a lot of fun.
That kind of sounds interesting.
I
it's
love
just
it.
when you said you were going to a show, and I know like some of your interests, I was piqued my interests, and then you're like with my mom and dad, and I'm like, well, from context, I don't know a whole lot.
Yeah.
It already just shrunk my hopes. It was like,
Although I gotta say, like, the fact that, like... Although I gotta say, the fact that, like, my mom and dad took me to a lot of, like, oh, we were going to go see, like, Annie or The Lion King, like, at Proctor's when I was a little kid. Like, that is where the love of musical theater started.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, recording our podcast on Wednesday.
Fighting with Friends.
Fighting with Friends, which you can... Are we doing that live for the first time this Wednesday?
That's up to you. That's your show. How do you want to run it?
Oh, this is fun.
Do you want to come in here and try and do it? That would require someone to run the board, which is not a problem. We have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Probably just remote.
You just do it remote from your own thing, and then we can just plop it onto our stuff later.
Yeah, for the sake of convenience for everybody involved.
Yeah, that's okay. We haven't discussed like if we ever want to try and do locked and loaded pre-recorded episodes for us and stuff too. So we might eventually do some of those.
So, things changing, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, so doing that Wednesday, then stream on the Fighting with Friends Twitch channel on Thursday. We're talking about Q, the Winged Serpent, which I have never seen before, and that was what we picked from the It's the 80s category on the list of movies that Kyle gave us to watch. So we're doing that, and then Friday, I think I finally get a fucking break. Although... there's the shift change where I work in the middle of this week, and I'm working like 6 days in a row and not getting overtime because the pay period ends in the middle of the week.
Yeah, I had a job like that.
That's how they get you. But then I'm going to a concert on Sunday, so...
Okay, well, that works.
But then it's a break for a little while.
Yeah, I know.
I do it to myself. All of the things sound so fun, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to do all of them. And then they all happen to, like, coincide, and I'm like, ah!
It's hard for me because I have a toddler at home, and it's just not fair to my wife if I'm always the one out, doing things.
Yeah.
So, unless I start paying a babysitter so she can just get out of the house while I'm out of the house, too, then my hobbies become expensive, though.
The struggle is very real.
Yeah. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be the next Big Dumb Monsters, and what the hell are you guys doing?
We are doing Dario Argento's Demons.
Nice.
Demons.
Oh shit! I have to watch that tonight.
Well, we'll wrap it up so that you can get down to that.
There you go.
We're kind of hitting the end here anyway.
No worries.
Seems like it. We're about at the end of the movie anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't have a lot going on this week. Won't be doing anything else till Mid-Hudson Comic Con for special stuff, or we might do the D&D campaign that I was talking about.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
So we'll see what goes on with that. Maybe you'll join into that.
We will figure it out.
Guess that's all I had.
Works for me.
Yeah, not a bad movie. I think people should give it a shot. If you like Doctor Who, you're probably more likely to dislike this if you like Doctor Who, I think.
Yeah, honestly, you might have. I might be more confused if you don't know Doctor Who, but you're probably going to have a little bit more fun.
Yeah, because then it's just like a fun sci-fi flick where you're like, I don't really understand this reference.
Yeah.
which I've had that with other stuff too before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely give it a shot. I think 6.3 from IMDb is not a bad rating.
No.
A little higher than I would give it, but
Again, my personal rating is just as high as it is for like my own emotional reasons.
yeah.
So.
All right. Well, do we want to discuss the next episode we're going to do, or do we want to do that offline until we figure it out?
Do you have something locked and loaded?
I have
totally fine just being told what to watch. I love
I do want to evolve into the things in a hat, even if you don't have a lot to put in.
Okay, I'm here for that. I'm very here for that.
We can go with I'll pick things for now, but what I really want to do, it doesn't need to be like, I do 3, you do 3, but we'll put them in a hat, shake them up, and we'll draw live. Because there's a lot of good old cheesy and good old movies in sci-fi that I know that I want to watch. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's more curveballs like this where you're like, well, I like it. I don't know if you've seen it. Here it is. But let's see. I want to pick something that's easy and accessible. See, the problem is I have so many ways to see things that I'm trying to remember if they're available on streaming.
That's.
Well, I'm just going to pick them.
I don't mind sailing the high seas to obtain a movie.
We do
so
need
that's not a problem.
A Pirate's Life is Me sound effect.
Yar.
Yar. Tune in next time for. I'm going to go with Robot Jocks.
Okay. I'm fascinated already by this title.
Oh, it's everything you want it to be.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Rollerball? Never mind.
Explain?
No, it's fine. It was just another movie I could have compared it to.
I'm sorry that I'm a child.
No, it's okay. It's just it won't ruin anything in the movie for you. Imagine if the world stopped having wars and instead settled international disputes by having people in Gundams fight each other. So the Russian... Oh, think Pacific Rim. The Jaegers. Imagine if we solved conflicts with that.
Okay,
Russia wants Alaska back. So we
have giant robots duke it out.
Instead of having a war, just 2 giant-ass robots fight it out.
Okay.
That's
Honestly,
Robot Jocks.
We should be doing that. Why are we doing anything else?
And the reason I asked about Rollerball is that's also the premise of the movie Rollerball, except for it's like roller derby with murder.
Fun.
There is a 70s and early 2000s version of that movie, Rollerball.
I'm going to bet the 70s one is better.
Oh my gosh, how did you know?
Because that's how it always happens. 99% of the time.
So we'll do Robot
Show
Jocks.
me a remake that's better.
I'm so excited.
Just any.
I mean, it's rare.
Precisely.
It's rare. Yes, I'm very excited. It's a movie I love. It's very cheesy from the 80s.
I love a good cheesy 80s movie. I'm excited too now.
I recommend you hit up the link tree for Big Dumb Monsters, linktr.ee/Big Dumb Monsters. It's the easiest way to get all of our other details.
There's also a link tree for Fighting with Friends, which is the exact same thing. linktr.ee/FWFpod that has all of our stuff on it. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you might want to find us.
What was that again?
FWF Pod or Pod?
Yeah, FWF Pod.
Yeah, FWF Pod.
That's us. So yeah, that's in the chat for y'all to check out right now.
Yeah, so I guess
And then come hang out with us for the rest of the week. For Big Dumb Monsters, for Fighting with Friends, for the Fighting with Friends Twitch stream, which doesn't really have a name other than just that's the other thing we do.
And then we'll try to have more content for you for the other days of the week. We're pushing. We're trying hard to get you guys the
We're doing our best. Hell yeah.
I guess that's all she wrote.
I thought she wrote murder.
She did. There it is. Yes. I heard him typing those. Oh.
There we go.
He's not.
Oh.
He's busy typing, so he's not doing the end of the show thing.
Oh, that's fine.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
I guess we have to keep talking for a minute while
Come
he
on,
figures out which
dude.
button to